everyone, and welcome to Imhamo, today's special episode. Tonight we're honored host again, Simon Danczuk. He's former British MP. Simon, it is so good to have you again.
Good to be with you.
It is so good. The last time you were here, we had an interesting discussion about the Rwanda plan. I proposed the UK government to send illegal immigrants to Rwanda. A lot have changed since the last time. Now we have Keir Starmer in office, and he cancelled the Rwanda plan. We're going to be talking much about the Rwanda plan. We're going to be talking about the UK relation with Rwanda and other things. Mr. Danczuk, welcome back to Imhamo. What do you say about Keir Starmer? Why did he cancel Rwanda plan?
That's a really good question. We have a really big problem in regard to illegal immigrants coming into Britain, coming over the sea from France. It's only 22 miles at the shortest point. They come over in small dinghies, and they are encouraged and helped by organised gangs, gangsters in effect, bringing them into Britain. And then the British taxpayer has to look after them. And this has been an ongoing problem. And the Rwanda plan, organised by the previous Conservative government, was going to send some of those illegal immigrants to Rwanda. And I believed that was a good deterrent, because if those illegal immigrants knew that they would end up being sent to Rwanda, then they would be less likely to make the journey into Britain. So that was introduced by the Conservative government, but as soon as Keir Starmer, the Labour leader, became Prime Minister in July last year, he cancelled the plan. I think it's been a big mistake because it was seen to be a deterrent, and just a day or so ago in the national newspapers it was shown that the plan was working. It was deterring people, illegal immigrants, from coming into Britain, but he cancelled it. He was playing politics with the issue, really. And my view is that Keir Starmer believes in open borders. He's happy for people to come into Britain, whereas most British people don't believe in open borders. They want to limit the number of illegal immigrants coming into Britain. So he cancelled it for political reasons, and now what we do see is that since he's become Prime Minister, we have many more illegal immigrants coming into Britain. On just a week or so ago, we had 1,200 people come in just one day.
So things went from bad to worse since the cancellation of the Rwanda plan.
Yeah, absolutely. And Keir Starmer cannot deny that. The numbers of illegal immigrants has gone up dramatically. It's the highest it's ever been. And now he's searching round for what he's calling a return hub. So he's looking at Eastern European countries where he can return the illegal immigrants to. Well, it's the same plan, exactly, totally the same. And we'd invested lots of money into the plan. We'd built stronger relations with Rwanda. We'd identified a site where the illegal immigrants would be sent to in Rwanda. And yet, for political reasons, he played politics with it, political football, and yet he finds himself trying to find a very similar solution.
Very similar. But one of the first things he said since he took the office, he said, quote, "The Rwanda plan is dead and buried." That is one of the first things he said. But if the illegal immigrant, it is a problem in the whole UK, why the first things to do as a Prime Minister was to cancel one of the many solutions the previous government was bringing to tackle the problem?
It had always been a controversial issue because Labour politicians painted the Rwanda plan as something that wasn't morally right. They said that sending people to Africa wasn't the appropriate solution, so they painted it in a very negative way. It cost quite a lot of money. There were legal issues around it. Did we have the right in international law to send people to Africa? But all that was sorted out by the previous government, so they had a variety of hurdles to get over, but they got over them, and they were just on the cusp of implementing the plan. But by that time, Keir Starmer had used it as a political football and something he was trying to score political points off.
Yes.
But the reality is he has been found out because the British public now see that he doesn't have any plan at all.
He doesn't not have any plan at all, as you're saying. You talked about it a bit a moment ago. You said about there's no clear change since the cancellation of Rwanda plan. It is almost a year since the Keir Starmer has been in office. Let us go back a bit in that year. What happened since that time? You say about many people coming into to the UK. How UK has been doing since the new government of Keir Starmer?
Yeah, well, and this isn't just my opinion. I mean, all the opinion polls show that Keir Starmer has come into power last July, as you say, nearly 1 year on now, and he is exceptionally unpopular. So if the previous government with Rishi Sunak as Prime Minister was unpopular, then Keir Starmer is even more unpopular. Because he's not least because the three big issues in Britain are the economy, people feeling poorer, having less money in their pocket. Secondly, it's the health service, whether you can get treatment if you're unwell. And thirdly, it's illegal immigration. They're the three big issues. And on all those issues, Keir Starmer has not performed particularly well. The economy is struggling in Great Britain. Inflation is going up, so cost of goods and food and things, energy is increasing. They've put taxes up, so people and businesses are paying more in taxes, and the growth of the economy is really sluggish. It's really slow. So people are feeling less well off, and he's not addressed the immigration issue, and the health service is slow to get better.
One of the big issue UK is facing, it is illegal immigration, as you said, is underperforming in like every aspect, economy, illegal immigration. So in your view, do you think UK or the Keir Starmer government has lost a chance to control the problem? When I say the problem, I mean the illegal immigration, or do you think there's some better solution since they did cancel the Rwanda plan?
In the run-up to the general election last year, Keir Starmer said his plan was to smash the gangs. So he
didn't do that, did he?
No, he hasn't done that. No, absolutely not. And it's proven to be found not to have done it. You're exactly right. But his plan was to, and he's a lawyer by trade, he's a legal expert by trade, and his view was that he would take action against those organising the trip, the journeys across the sea. So smashing the organised gangsters, but he's completely failed to do that. He's had negotiations with France, from where these illegal immigrants are coming from. He's had meetings with a whole range of different people, but what we've actually seen is an increase in numbers. Had he stuck to the Rwanda plan, which I supported, we would have seen many fewer people coming into Britain in this way. It's almost tragic what he's done, actually. It's terrible. And the public are unhappy about that.
But why is it so hard to stop those small boats?
Well, I mean, you could be really decisive and turn the boats around. But people like Keir Starmer have a particular view. I think ultimately he has a view that we should have open borders. I think that's ultimately what he believes in. But he doesn't say that publicly in Britain because it's not a popular view. So he says, oh, well, for human rights reasons, we shouldn't turn the boats around. We have to let them come to the country, and then we deal with the people, and then we send them back to where they came from. But we don't send them back. We have a system that doesn't do that effectively. So many people just end up staying. So the population of Britain is just dramatically increasing year on year.
But when you hear about what Keir Starmer is saying, he's saying that he's dealing with the problem, he's now doing good according to him. There's a tweet He tweeted no long ago saying how he is doing. If they have it, they can put it up in control room. He tweeted, quote, "I already returned over 24,000 people with no right to be here." You can see it here. He said it, and he said, "I won't stop there." What is your reaction to that? He say he's dealing with the problem.
Yes.
Already 24,000 people has been returned home.
Well, he talks a good game, but he doesn't play a good game. That's the reality of it. You can't believe the messages that Keir Starmer puts out there, and that's not just my view. I think that's the view of a very good proportion of the British public. So even these figures aren't really accurate. That figure includes people who were returning home anyway. It includes people who were paid to return back to their country of origin. The statistic isn't accurate, and the truth is that if you look at other facts and statistics, it's quite clear that he hasn't been doing as well in terms of returning people as the previous Conservative government was. So his messaging suggests that he's strong on this issue, but the reality is that he's completely failing. There's no doubt about that.
There's no, but when he said this, he has confidence in saying it. So many people have been seeing on this tweet, they're saying he's lying. Like you said, he's paying many taxpayers' money to those people to return home. He has no clear policy to do that. Obviously, he didn't trust the Rwanda plan, as you said. It would have helped him to tackle this immigration program. In closing on this Rwanda plan going on the UK-Rwanda relation, do you think this deal is probably someone might think maybe we are going to be doing Rwanda plan again, or like Keir Starmer said, it is dead and buried?
That's a really good question. I don't think Britain will return to the Rwanda plan as a solution. They might identify another country with which to do a similar plan. What will happen when there's a change of government, perhaps towards Reform UK, which is a very new political party in Britain, if they gain power, then I think they will turn the boats around. I think they will discourage people from coming into Britain. Whether they return to a Rwanda plan will be a good question, but I think there will be a much stronger solution from whichever party takes over from Labour and Keir Starmer.
So the UK and Rwanda relation go back. Rwanda and the UK has been good relation for quite some time. So when you see what has been happening in the region, the Rwanda have accused the UK for taking sides to the conflict in the Democratic Republic of Congo. After in February, the UK government announced punitive measures towards Rwanda due to the ongoing conflict in the eastern DRC. The Foreign Secretary David Lammy has said that UK would stop aid bilaterally to aid Rwanda, except aid for the most vulnerable. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah. Well, there's no doubt about it that this government has reduced the amount of money spent on aid, foreign aid, the money given to different countries for any reason. Not least because it's diverting that money towards defence. So Britain feels particularly vulnerable because of the Russian-Ukrainian conflict. And Donald Trump has encouraged Britain and other European countries to spend much more on defence. And I think Donald Trump is right to encourage European countries to spend more on defence. So we've cut foreign aid anyway. In terms of Congo and David Lammy, the Foreign Secretary's position on that, I just don't think he understands the issues very well. I mean, he's the Foreign Secretary for Great Britain. He's looking at a whole range of different issues, but I just think he's got it wrong in relation to Congo and Rwanda. I think he's misunderstanding the history of the situation and the fine detail in terms of what's going on there. So I think he's reaching the wrong conclusion. But that's not unusual for foreign secretaries. I think he's probably taking a lead from Belgium from another European country, rather than trying to understand exactly what's going on the ground in eastern Congo.
But there have been some issue with the FDLR, as Rwanda say it has security concerns, as the UK would do if it has security concerns. Why is it is so hard for people in the Western world to understand that a country as small it might be as Rwanda might have security concern? It might act accordingly to protect interest and its people.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I think countries in the West should be doing. They should be understanding Rwanda's predicament better. I'm very supportive of Rwanda in relation to their position. They're a very small nation in a very complicated part of Eastern Africa, and they have to defend themselves, and that's exactly what they're doing in relation to Eastern Congo. We should, as a British country who is close to Rwanda diplomatically, we should be supporting that, not discouraging it, and that's what David Lammy should be doing, but he's not doing it.
Yeah, but do you think the relationship with Rwanda and UK we come back to normal like it used to be? It used to be good.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, it's not that long ago, 2022 I think it was, when we had CHOGM in Rwanda, the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, where Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, was here in Kigali, and many other British diplomats. And that's where we need to get back to. I think we can do. I think it will be better under a different British government. I don't think under Keir Starmer and David Lammy's government relations will be as healthy. But the situation can certainly be improved. I hope for that.
But the Conservative has been in power for quite some time, for a long time of period. How long do you think this government will last?
Oh, yeah, that's a really interesting question. I mean, they were elected last year and they serve a 5-year term. Now, whether Keir Starmer lasts that long is debatable. I think he's that unpopular. He's the most unpopular Prime Minister we've seen in recent history, and that's going some. But there's no mechanism for a change of government, so he could keep going unless his own members of Parliament rebel against him. That's the only way you could get rid of him in the next 5 years. And that might happen, but if it doesn't, then we have to put up with him. But the British public are becoming increasingly unhappy. There's no doubt about that.
So yeah, that is true. We've seen some stats and some polls ranking him in one of the worst Prime Minister in history of the United Kingdom. Let us talk a bit about Rwanda. You talked about Rwanda and how the Western world see about Rwanda. What do you think about Rwanda? What do you think this country, this small country, has told the world? There have been many things happening here in Rwanda. We have a very bad history, and in the way the Rwanda came back from that to live again. What do you think the Rwanda has told the world, either politically or socially? What do you think the West hasn't understood yet about Rwanda?
Yeah, well, my interest is in politics and how politics is done. So some people follow football and other interests, but I follow politics. And I have a lot of admiration for how Rwanda has rebuilt itself. It's exceptionally impressive. And you can contrast Rwanda even with Britain in terms of the success that Rwanda's had. The economy is growing much more strongly than the British economy. In terms of those key issues that we've been talking about, you deal with them Rwanda deal with them in a much better way than Britain does. You know, if we talk about policing and safety and security, we were talking about defence, then Rwanda is exceptionally good on that. It's an exceptionally safe country. That's not the case in Britain. It's becoming increasingly unsafe. Crime is increasing. So it's the opposite of Rwanda. In terms of defence, we're now having to spend more money on defence, which we should be doing. Rwanda's already doing that, doing it really effectively and efficiently. So I think there are actually lessons that Britain can learn from how Rwanda approaches some of these key political policy issues.
So you've had a chance to observe Rwanda leadership closely. What your honest impression of His Excellency President Kagame, and how is viewed from countries like UK?
Yeah, the one thing I say to people in Britain when we're talking about politics and we're talking about Rwanda, one thing I say is that British politicians would die for the kind of admiration and support that Paul Kagame has in his own country. You know, vast numbers of people in Rwanda like and support Paul Kagame. I mean, that's the reality.
Do you think a leadership like his would work in country like UK, or it is like some leadership that works in countries like Rwanda?
Well, I think it would work I think Paul Kagame's leadership style, having studied these issues over well over 35 years, would be most welcome in Britain by the British people. I think that's exactly the kind of leadership that the British people are crying out for. The other observation I make to British people when I'm talking about Paul Kagame and Rwanda is that he is the most energetic and hard-working political leader that I've observed, and I say that without a doubt. I mean, Tony Blair, again, was very dynamic. I've met Tony Blair, a very strong politician, very strong political leader, but Paul Kagame is on a par, if not exceeding that, in terms of his energy and the fact that the work he gets through and he does diplomatically is phenomenally impressive.
It is so. It is phenomenally impressive. Thank you so much for saying that. We are nearing the end of this good discussion, but I have to ask you about what do you think about the UK relation with Africa. We've seen some countries in West Africa fight with the country that used to be there for them, like in Mali, the French are no longer welcome. What do you think about UK in Africa? What are you doing to increase your influence in a modern way, not in the way it used to be in the past?
Yeah, I think our relations with African states are evolving. I think they have to become a partnership. I think the Commonwealth plays a really important part. We talked about the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. I think the Commonwealth can play a really positive part in terms of building trade. So I don't even think it's about foreign aid, giving money. I think it's about building business between countries. And Rwanda and Britain, I think, has a strong business relationship. Rwanda Air is flying every day now back and forth between the two nations. I think that's really healthy. I think we're developing much better business relationships, and I think that can be replicated not just between Britain and Rwanda, but between Britain and other African states as well.
Among those illegal immigrants that come to United Kingdom, there's some who come from Africa. How do you think the British government should be working with the African nation to tackle those kind of immigration problem and security in general? Yeah,
we have to. I mean, most of the illegal immigrants don't come from African states particularly. I think they come from Pakistan, Turkey, even parts of Eastern Europe. But nevertheless, we have to enable African nations to build themselves up so that people don't want to leave. And the less conflict that occurs in Africa, the better for Africa itself, but also for European states like Britain.
Mr. Simon Danczuk, thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you.
So I hope your insight help us understand not just politics, but the human side of leadership and global cooperation. The story between Rwanda and UK is far from over. They may have cancelled the Rwanda plan, but we still have a good relationship with the UK. Rwandan people and British people are still close. So I believe we we'll forever have something in common to, share with the British people. Thank you so much for coming, Imhamo. Hoping we will, have another time and another chance to talk about politics. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone who was watching from home. We have now closed the today episode. We see you again tomorrow. Good night.